Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. Today I wanted to talk about something that is a quite important topic regarding the next Battlefront game, and that we had a lot of discussion about before the last game as well, which is the class/loadout system being used in the game. Before we get into the class system and star card system, I just wanted to give another shout out to audible.com, who partnered up with me to give you guys some free Star Wars books. This video is not sponsored by them, but I do have sort of like an affiliate link, so if any of you guys sign up, you will support the channel at the same time. They've basically given me a link where you guys can get a 30-day trial as well as a free book of your choice with no strings attached. So if you don't like the book or if you don't like the 30-day trial, you can just cancel and you don't have to pay anything. They have a lot of Star Wars books on there, including Battlefront Twilight Company and pretty much all Star Wars books that has been released over the last couple of years. So if you're interested and want to support the channel at the same time, feel free to sign up through the link in the description below. Now let's get started. This is a topic that the community has a very mixed opinion on, and I think there's basically no way of pleasing everyone. Some people want the class system from the old Battlefront games with no customization. Some people want the system from Battlefield where you have some customization within the classes, and some people enjoy it like it is right now with completely free customization, except for some limitations with charge cards and stuff like that. So in this video I wanted to talk about my opinion regarding this and how I hope it will be handled. And I can say right from the start that I'm not actually sure what I want. I really like the system that they have right now, but I don't think it's perfect. And I also like the system they have in Battlefield, but I don't want it to be exactly like that either. One thing I can say for sure is that I absolutely do not want it to be like the old Battlefront games. We cannot have locked classes with basically no customization. That would not work in a modern shooter right now, and people would get bored very quickly. So how about class system versus star card system? Well, one thing that I can talk about right away is the charge cards. I really don't think they are very good as they are right now, so that's something I think they need to get rid of, no matter if they have a class system or a star card system. Because first of all, it doesn't make sense that you need to save up the credits to buy charges that you will use in game. Those credits should only be used to actually buy weapons or skins, and not something you need to spend in the game. That really was a bad mechanic in my opinion. The only way I see charges possibly working was actually the way they were in the alpha, where you got X amount each round. So if you played a game of Walker Assault, you started off with, let's say, 5 charges, which meant that you needed to save those for really important situations, which I think is a better system than right now. But overall, I think charge cards could be removed altogether, and I think we could just have long cooldowns for some of the stuff instead of having something you need to save up. And just to clarify, I like the actual mechanics of the charge cards, such as adrenaline stim or explosive shot, focus fire, and all those type of things can still be kept, but don't have them based on charges that you need to buy for credits that you get from each round. So what about classes then, or other types of restrictions on what can be used with different things? Well, I'm honestly not sure if I want classes or not. I think it entirely depends on how they design the rest of the next game, because if you take a look at the current game we have, it really wouldn't work with a class system. Having a specific sniper class with the current star cards, that wouldn't really make sense. That means that we would basically have one class that has the cycler rifle, pulse cannon and DLT-19X. Nope, that would not be a good idea. Same thing for medic. You could have the Bacta bomb, medical droid and adrenaline stim, but these were all added in DLCs, so that wouldn't make sense either. And even if that wasn't the case, imagine if someone just walked around with those, it would also be a little bit strange. Basically, the current game isn't made for a class system, and I don't think the next game will be that either, because I think it's gonna be somewhere in between Battlefield and Battlefront, because I know they've said it multiple times that they don't want to just rip off stuff from Battlefield and put that in Battlefront, but they want to make it unique. So if they don't have a class system, what could they do to limit the loadouts a bit? Well, I think they could make all of the 3 slots, or however many slots they have, a bit more unique, so that now they have the charge cards, which is one limitation, because that means that you can't pick any 3 star cards and use at the same time. But what if we have 3 different limitations? So we have maybe one for mobility or heals, one for something like the charge cards are right now, but that we don't have charges we need to save up, and then a third one with something else. I don't have any specific ideas on what those 3 could be. but it could be a way to limit the way you could have your loadout a little bit more. And I also think that we need to have some more disadvantages of picking some things. Like right now, a lot of people use the jump pack. It's something that's almost stuck in everyone's main loadout, and that's something I hope to see improved in next game, where if they add a jump pack, it's still gonna be helpful, but it shouldn't be something you absolutely need to have. One problem with that is obviously the physics in this game aren't very good. In Battlefield 1, you can climb over obstacles, and if you get stuck, you can usually climb out. But that's not the case right now, and you can't even jump over a 1 meter tall wall in Battlefront, which is why a jump pack is so extremely necessary. And that's something that could be helped with better physics, but also with some sort of limitation to the jump pack. Another thing that they did in Battlefield 1, which is not at all a solution to the class system overall, but it just makes the class system or loadout system a lot more fun, is the custom games. Because with the custom games, you can limit what the player can actually use. So there's a couple of custom games where people can only use a pistol, or where they can only use the bolt action rifle. Imagine if they had something like that in Battlefront. I know I've talked about that in a previous video, but I just wanted to bring it up again because it's something that can really add a lot more variety into the game, especially when the game is at the same stage as it is right now, where a lot of people are just using the same stuff. Back bomb, EE4, jump pack, and then a shield. That's probably the most common loadout right now. And if they added some custom games, or if they added something that gave you a reason or forced you to play with other star cards, it would make the game a lot more interesting. And I think that's also something that a potential class system could help with, especially with the jump pack, because imagine if you had only, let's say, 3 classes, and only one of those classes could actually use a jump pack. Maybe as some sort of objective-based class that you don't have a lot of offensive stuff like a bowcaster or a pulse cannon, which means that you cannot use these very cheesy combos with a jump pack and bowcaster, but the jump pack is solely going to be there for faster movement and not for combining with OP star cards that you can fire from the air. Another class that is available in most games that have class systems are the mechanic, and that's another thing that if they want to have that in the next game, they really need to remake the entire vehicle system, because right now you really cannot interact with the vehicles in any way except for destroying them if you are on the enemy team, which means that a anti-vehicle class would be the only thing available with a couple of ion weapons, but there's not really anything like a fusion cutter or something where you can actually heal your teammates' vehicles, but that's probably for the better in this game, because imagine if you could heal up ATSTs. That would be a freaking pain in the ass, that's for sure. I feel like this discussion could go on forever because there's so many aspects we need to consider, and I think the designers for the next Battlefront game are in for quite the task when they are deciding how the system is going to work out. They're probably already decided about it, but still it might be something that they will adjust all the way to the beta and the release, like they did with the charge cards for the last game. In short, I just think they need to have something that combines the best of all these. I like the freedom of the current game, but I still think we need a little bit more limitations, and I also think they should really ditch the charge cards, or at least the way you get charges, because I think that's kind of stupid the way it is right now. And on the other hand, it shouldn't be as limited as the old Battlefront games, or maybe not even Battlefield. But please let me know in the comments below if you guys have any ideas for how you think the next Battlefront game could work in terms of class system. And please keep the comments civil, because I know this is a topic that a lot of people have very different opinions in, so there's no way they will please all of you. But I'm really curious to see if you have any cool suggestions that might help with the issues this game had, but still not just copy Battlefield system. If you have any other topics like this one that you want me to discuss regarding the next Battlefront game and tell you my opinion on, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.